Hi there, Agile friends. Get ready for the World Tour of Agile at the Agile Online Summit 2023. You can join us from October 24th to 26th for a global showcase of cutting-edge Agile practices and insights. Join us at agileonlinesummit.com. This year, we will be featuring some of the best work done around the world and world-class keynotes. You can check all of that at agileonlinesummit.com. But the best part is that your ticket is on us. That's right, it's free to attend and immerse yourself in the world of Agile excellence. Don't miss out on this opportunity to level up your skills and network with peers and industry experts. Mark your calendars and secure your spot at AOS 23 today by visiting agileonlinesummit.com. So get your free ticket or opt for the full digital pass that lets you keep all the conference videos forever and organize, why not, Agile learning sessions at work. You can get the full digital access at agileonlinesummit.com. I'll see you in the conference floor. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Murky Waters of Change on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. This week we have with us Lorraine Chambers. Hey, Lorraine. Welcome back.
Hi, Vasco.
So, Lorraine, Wednesday is, as I said at the start, the Murky Waters of Change. And that's the pool we're going to dive into right now. And leading change, of course, is this is what I like to talk about. We don't manage change, we lead change, also because you can't really tell people what to do. You can only create the motivation for them to do what needs to be done. So let's dive into a change process that you were involved with and walk us through that change process, step by step, how it happened. And as you go through that, highlight for us the tools, the tips, the tricks, the techniques you learned back then that you still apply today.
Sure, yes. So this challenge dates back to a few years ago. It was around the time that we were doing an agile transformation. There was also something called a shift left initiative as part of it. So basically, quality is really the responsibility of everybody on the team. So on the team level, we were told to, identify defects as part of like automation as early as possible to help reduce the cost of fixing it later and, avoid having to fix them in production. So we used to, at this organization, we used to have dedicated testers and quality assurance analysts, and those were kind of getting phased away. And again, the quality and testing was a part of the team. So the challenge there was this particular team that I was working with, they were a newer team as well, and they didn't have any clear guidance or policies on how to set up their automated tests and, how to manage quality in this sense. They didn't know how much time they should dedicate to writing these automated tests or which features should have automated tests, if how much time in the sprint, so there were just a lot of unknowns, a lot of questions that the team had. So I really wanted to help them navigate this change. So I reached out to my manager and some senior leaders in engineering, and I explained to them my team's concerns and the negative impact it was having on them and the end users and the product. So I asked if there was some guidance or, some policies around test automation that could, help my team through this process, workshops or something to help them out. And I was informed after some time that, some information would be given out around test-driven development. And that has automation as a standard. So, we were kind of waiting on that internal documentation to come out. Eventually, after some time and some prodding, the Scrum team was able to get some information, to get some guidance on how to do this. They started using an in-house tool for their end-to-end tests and agreed that this tool would help them, at the very least, test out the riskiest and most highly used features. And the engineering manager agreed that this is something that would help uncover some defects and dependencies. But I would say the big lesson that I learned from this change is that when there's something that is going to affect the teams that I'm working with in a major way, try to first of all, find out who the policy makers are and who the stakeholders are. Try to find who they are early, because a lot of time I felt was kind of wasted trying to figure that out. And then also gather real data to share with the policymakers and the stakeholders to know.
Can you give an example of what you have in mind by that real data?
Yes. So, I at the time, gathering some data on maybe how many hours were being spent on maybe some reviewing manual test plans before we automated, or how many defects were slipping through the crack, before they were discovered, time to fix them. All those little data points would have helped me when I approached leadership with the problem. Maybe I could have gotten some, solutions or some actions faster for the team. So, anytime a change is taking place, or anytime I want to advocate for the team or help the team advocate for themselves, really, having some of those data points to back it up will always help, because everybody likes data, and the data doesn't lie. So that would be one learning experience that I gathered from that.
Absolutely. And did the team eventually kind of adopt this new way of working? Were they able to adapt to either TDD or that internal tool that you mentioned?
Yes. They've been actively using the internal tool. They've been building on it, enhancing it. So it's been great. It's been quite effective. The defect numbers have been, pretty low. So, it was
and what do you think was the kind of the trigger that got the team over the hump, so to speak? Like what was that? Because of course I heard from your description that there was some kind of hesitation, not feeling sure about how to do it, maybe not having enough information to start adopting test-driven development. What helped the team really go over the let's call it the change threshold?
Yes. With the teams I work with, I like to call everything an experiment. I say, look, let's try it. Let's try it out. Let's try it out for a few sprints. Let's take some time out in the sprint to, maybe give you some time to research, to practice, get familiar with the tool, carve out some time to work with the product owner to make sure we're carving out some time to do that. And, we'll time box it. Let's experiment with this for 3 sprints. And then we'll circle back. We revisit in a retrospective, like, okay, you've been working with this for 3 sprints. Here's some data. How are things looking? Have that discussion and keep things going. I find in general that works very well with teams. They like the experiment part of it because they're not like tied down to something. They don't have to like commit to something.
They are given the freedom to decide as well. Let's not forget that, right? Like
exactly.
And that is a great motivator as well, because if I'm going to try something and then I can decide to keep it, then I decide to keep it.
Exactly.
Right? And that's a very good motivator. And also, if they try out and it doesn't work, then they can find some other way. And that's also a positive outcome.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Lorraine. It's a great story.
Thanks, Vasco.
Leading change is one of the core skills we must acquire, but it is only one of the steps towards our success as Scrum Masters. Tomorrow, on Success Thursday, we will talk about how to define success for the Scrum Master role. We'll cover tips on how to measure your way to that position, and most importantly, how to develop that focus on continuous improvement that is as important for Scrum Masters as it is for teams. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.